Camera pans over a pristine suburban neighborhood, manicured lawns, identical mailboxes, and a quiet cul-de-sac basking in the morning sun. Hey, everyone! Welcome back to the channel, where we dive into the wildest, most jaw-dropping neighborhood drama you didn't know you needed. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on the chaos. Today, we're unpacking a story so outrageous it'll make your head spin. Picture this: a self-proclaimed HOA queen, a sheriff's truck, and a tow job that sparked a neighborhood showdown for the ages. This is the tale of how Karen, the cul-de-sac's unofficial dictator, towed the wrong truck and learned a lesson she'll never forget. Grab your popcorn, because this one's a roller coaster. Let's dive in. Camera pans over a pristine suburban neighborhood, manicured lawns, identical mailboxes, and a quiet cul-de-sac basking in the morning sun. Hey, everyone! Welcome back to the channel, where we dive into the wildest, most jaw-dropping neighborhood drama you didn't know you needed. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on the chaos. Today, we're unpacking a story so outrageous it'll make your head spin. Picture this: a self-proclaimed HOA queen, a sheriff's truck, and a tow job that sparked a neighborhood showdown for the ages. This is the tale of how Karen, the cul-de-sac's unofficial dictator, towed the wrong truck and learned a lesson she'll never forget. Grab your popcorn, because this one's a roller coaster. Let's dive in. Cut to a reenactment. A woman in a leopard print cardigan stands on her porch, arms crossed, glaring at a black Ford Raptor parked across the street. It all started on a bright Monday morning in a picture-perfect suburban neighborhood. The kind of place where every blade of grass is trimmed to approved perfection, and the mailboxes all match like soldiers in a lineup. But one thing stood out like a sore thumb: a blacked-out Ford Raptor pickup truck, still dusty from a weekend off-road adventure, parked neatly in front of my house. Now, this truck wasn't crooked. It wasn't blocking a driveway. It wasn't even double-parked. By all accounts, it was just a truck, minding its own business, legally parked on a public street. But to Karen, this truck was a personal insult to her meticulously curated neighborhood aesthetic. Karen, the self-appointed general of the cul-de-sac, had a reputation. She was the kind of person who'd measure your lawn with a ruler to ensure it didn't exceed the HOA's maximum grass height of 2.5 inches. She'd leave passive-aggressive notes on your windshield if your car's tire was an inch too close to the curb. And don't even think about putting out a non-regulation trash bin on pickup day. She'd have a meltdown faster than you can say recyclable. Karen didn't just enforce the HOA rules. She was HOA, or so she thought. Her word was law, her clipboard was her scepter, and her icy stare could make grown adults rethink their life choices. So when Karen spotted that Ford Raptor, her internal alarm bells went off. She stood on her porch, squinting at the truck like it had just called her out in front of the entire neighborhood watch. Her lips pursed, her perfectly manicured nails tapped against her phone case, and you could practically see the gears turning in her head. In Karen's world, this truck was an abomination. It was too big, too rugged, too unrefined for her pristine cul-de-sac. Never mind that it was parked legally or that it might belong to someone important. In her power-drunk mind, it was a blight on her kingdom, and it had to go. Karen stomps down the street in stilettos, phone pressed to her ear, her voice sharp and commanding. Without so much as knocking on a door or asking a single question, Karen sprang into action. She marched down the street, her stilettos stabbing the asphalt with every step, like she was on a mission to vanquish an enemy. She dialed the HOA's preferred towing company, her voice dripping with authority, barking orders like a drill sergeant hyped up on energy drinks. "There's an eyesore of a truck parked in front of number 17, she snapped. "It's ruining the neighborhood's image. Get it out of here. Now." No hesitation, no verification, no courtesy. Just pure, unfiltered Karen energy. Within the hour, the tow truck rolled up, hooked the Raptor, and hauled it away without a trace. No warning, no sticky note, no nothing. Just gone. Cut to Karen on her porch, sipping iced tea, looking smug. Karen strutted back to her porch like she'd just saved the neighborhood from a zombie apocalypse. She plopped down in her wicker chair, sipped her iced tea, and fired off a message to the neighborhood group chat. "You're welcome, everyone," she typed, her words oozing with self-satisfaction. "I had that ugly truck removed to keep our streets orderly. Let's maintain our standards." I nearly choked on my coffee when I read it. The audacity, the sheer, unmitigated gall. This woman had just vanished someone's vehicle, without a shred of evidence it was breaking any rules, and she was acting like she deserved a medal. Boom in on the host, leaning forward, eyebrows raised. Now here's where things get juicy. Karen, in her infinite wisdom, didn't bother to check who owned the truck. Not me, not the neighbors, not even the HOA board. She saw it, judged it, and sentenced it to the tow yard like some parking lot vigilante with a superiority complex. But the universe, oh, the universe had plans for Karen. Plans she wasn't remotely prepared for. Because that ugly truck she towed, it wasn't some random neighbor's ride. It wasn't a delivery driver's van or a teenager's beat-up pickup. No, no, no. That blacked-out Ford Raptor, complete with law enforcement plates and a faint dusting of trail mud, belonged to none other than the county sheriff himself. Yep, you heard that right. Karen had just towed the sheriff's personal vehicle. And let me tell you, she was about to find out why you don't mess with a man whose badge comes with handcuffs and federal resources. The sheriff, a tall, broad-shouldered man with a no-nonsense demeanor, steps out of a patrol car, scanning the street. By mid-afternoon, the neighborhood was buzzing with a different kind of energy. I heard the unmistakable crunch of boots on gravel and the low rumble of a diesel engine. I peeked out my window, coffee in hand, and there he was, the sheriff himself, sleeves rolled up, jaw clenched so tight it could have cracked walnuts. His truck was gone, and his mood was darker than the storm clouds rolling in overhead. I stepped onto my porch, trying to play it cool, but the air was thick with tension. The sheriff didn't say much at first. He just scanned the street, his eyes narrowing like he was piecing together a crime scene. Finally, he turned to me, his voice low and controlled. "Where's my truck?" I shrugged, my heart racing. I was about to ask you the same thing. I had a sinking feeling I knew exactly who was behind this, but I wasn't about to throw Karen under the bus just yet. Let's just say I wanted a front row seat to the chaos that was about to unfold. The sheriff pulls out his phone, making calls with a calm but deadly precision. Within 10 minutes, the sheriff was on his phone, making calls that weren't your average, "Hey, can you help me out" kind of calls. These were the kind of calls that included phrases like asset recovery, unauthorized tow, and dispatch 2 plainclothes to canvass the area. I nodded politely and backed away slowly, because this man wasn't just mad, he was surgical. His anger was cold, calculated, and laser-focused, and I had a strong hunch that a certain HOA dictator was about to regret her life choices. Cut to 2 black SUVs pulling up, agents stepping out in tailored suits and earpieces. By sunset, the neighborhood looked like a scene from a political thriller. 2 black SUVs rolled in, out stepped 2 federal agents, tailored suits, earpieces, the whole deal. They didn't waste time. They fanned out, knocking on doors, asking questions with a kind of calm intensity that makes you feel like you're in trouble, even if you've done nothing wrong. "Have you seen anything unusual today?" they asked. "Notice any tow trucks? Hear anyone bragging about getting a vehicle removed?" It was only a matter of time before the trail led straight to Karen. See, Karen wasn't exactly subtle. She lived for HOA drama, and she couldn't resist bragging about her victories. By the time the agents started their rounds, she'd already told at least 3 neighbors how she'd taken care of that nasty, oversized truck parked near number 17. Her words, not mine. So when the agents circled back, their notebooks full and their expressions unamused, it was clear the noose was tightening. The agents knock on Karen's door. She answers in a silk robe, looking smug. The agents approached Karen's house like they were about to raid a cartel hideout. Karen, in her silk robe and fuzzy slippers, flung open the door with the kind of confidence that screamed, "Oh good, more people to admire my authority." One agent flashed his badge while the other got straight to the point. "Ma'am, are you the individual who ordered a truck to be towed from in front of number 17 earlier today?" Karen gave a smug little nod, arms crossed, as if she was expecting a thank you note. "Yes, I did," she said, her voice dripping with self-righteousness. That truck was an eyesore. It didn't belong to anyone important. Cut to the host, eyes wide, shaking their head. "Oh, Karen, that line was her undoing." The taller agent's poker face cracked for a split second, like he couldn't believe someone could be that clueless. The shorter agent leaned in, his voice calm but sharp as a blade. "Ma'am, are you aware that the vehicle you had removed is registered to the sheriff of this county?" Karen's face freezes, her eyes blinking rapidly. You could have heard a pin drop. Karen's smug grin vanished faster than her HOA budget after a landscaping emergency. Her voice shot up an octave. The sheriff, she squeaked, her confidence crumbling like a stale cookie. Well, how was I supposed to know that? It didn't have his name on it. The agent didn't blink. He just let her excuse hang in the air, as awkward and damning as a bad karaoke performance. Karen stammered, throwing out nonsense about HOA rights and protecting the neighborhood's image. But it was too late. The moment she realized whose truck she'd towed, you could practically hear her brain short-circuiting. The agent pulls out a small device and plays a recording. Then came the knockout punch. The agent held up a small device, clicked a button, and played back a recording of Karen's own voice, bragging to a neighbor, "If I don't like the way it's parked, it goes." The words echoed in the evening air, and Karen's jaw dropped so hard I thought it might leave a dent in her porch. She tried to deny it, but the recording, combined with the tow company's paper trail, buried her deeper than a bunker in a disaster movie. Cut to the host, grinning mischievously. And just when Karen thought it couldn't get worse, the sheriff himself rolled up, armed with a court-ordered smile and a legal team that looked like they'd been waiting their entire careers for this moment. Karen stood frozen on her lawn, still in her leopard print cardigan, clutching a now empty iced tea glass as a stack of subpoenas and civil violation notices were handed to her. The paperwork was thicker than the HOA rulebook she'd weaponized for years. See, towing the sheriff's truck was just the spark. Once investigators started digging, they uncovered a goldmine of Karen's misdeeds. Turns out she'd been signing off on fake fines and pocketing HOA funds to remodel her kitchen, complete with imported marble countertops and a jacuzzi tub that mysteriously appeared after 3 budget reallocations. Then there was the neighbor's surveillance footage showing Karen directing HOA-funded landscapers to spruce up her own backyard. And let's not forget the time she bullied a disabled veteran into repainting his mailbox 4 times because it didn't match the neighborhood's approved palette. That little stunt earned her a separate civil complaint. Karen's mailbox overflows with legal notices as she peeks nervously from behind her curtains. By Wednesday morning, Karen's life was unraveling faster than a cheap sweater in a washing machine. The sheriff's legal team pressed charges for unauthorized towing and damage to government property. The tow company had scratched the truck's undercarriage, and those fines were stacking up like Tetris blocks. Then came the civil suits, 5 of them, from neighbors who'd been waiting for the perfect moment to bury her in paperwork and revenge. And the cherry on top, a restraining order from the sheriff himself, banning Karen from coming within 100 feet of his truck, his person, or even my front yard. The HOA held an emergency meeting, and for once, everyone was in agreement. Karen was stripped of her position, booted off the board, and banned from attending HOA meetings for the next decade. Her face when they read that final verdict? It was like someone had flushed her entire identity down a golden toilet. Cut to the host, leaning back, smirking. Now Karen spends her days hiding behind her curtains, jumping at the sight of every tow truck that passes by, her mailbox stuffed to the brim with final notices and legal threats. The cul-de-sac is finally free of her reign of terror, and the neighborhood has never been more peaceful. So, what do you think, folks? Did Karen get what she deserved, or did the universe go a little too hard on her? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know if you've got your own HOA horror stories to share. If you enjoyed this wild ride, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more epic neighborhood showdowns. Until next time, stay out of Karen's crosshairs, and I'll see you in the next video.